Hello, y'all, and welcome. Before I get to ICAD number 22, let me show y'all 21. There was a problem with my card yesterday, and the video didn't get recorded, or at least parts of it didn't. So that was card 21. Here, we're going to start on Index Card a Day, or ICAD number 22. This is a challenge from Tammy Garcia of Daisy Yellow, which you take the months of June and July and every day create some art on an index card. She has weekly themes and daily prompts that you can optionally use for additional inspiration. And then my friend Nina Fickett has some mixed media ICAD prompts. Now today's two prompts were pineapple and rub-ons. Y'all, the pineapple one just didn't get to me. And I know that Dollar Tree actually has some pineapple rub-ons. I'm kind of like, oh, I wish I had those. But yeah, I don't. And I probably wouldn't know what to do with it anyway. So instead, I'm using some rub-ons eventually. But first, I'm starting with my scrap box and getting some texture down in some collage. I happen to do what I try not to do, which was look at Instagram and Facebook this morning because I don't like it to influence me too much, but I think it did in the best possible way because I saw something from Lisa Goddard. She is an amazing artist. I will link to her below. And she does some beautiful things with texture and inkiness and gesso and yeah. So I decided to throw some texture on here. So I put down a little piece of, it was some altered dictionary paper that's got like crackle paste and some like silvery stuff on it. And then I've got a couple of used tea bags that I added for texture. And then just some, that's like, I don't even know, I think a crossword puzzle maybe. So I'm sticking that down just to cover up the whole card. And then I'll trim off the excess off the back. And I decided I'm going to try what Lisa does with like inks and paints and get some, I don't know, to get some bleediness to pick up the texture and all of that. Except I'm not putting down a layer of gesso like she often does. So I grabbed this. It's a Martha Stewart paint, and the color is called Mallard. And I thought it was going to be like a teal green, but I don't know. When I put it down on my card, I immediately am like, oh, I do not like this color. But I don't want to waste the paint, so I went ahead and dripped it all over my card and moved it around a little with the wet paintbrush. And then I'm going to go and grab Midnight Blue. It's an Americana paint and kind of do the same thing. I'm going to wet it really well and then get my paintbrush and move it kind of around with that mallard green on there. I don't know why that color is so off, that green. I don't know if I didn't shake it up enough or I don't know, because yeah, my sample of it is a beautiful teal blue green. So I don't know. I'm going to have to play with that again. So I'm just moving this around, and this card, y'all, I don't know. At first, I didn't think I was going to like it because as I was putting this down, I was like, oh, I don't know. This is going to be really bad. How am I going to bring this back? And like I said, there's that piece in the bottom corner of dictionary paper, or at least along the bottom, that has the silver in it. So I kept thinking I wanted gold on here, but no, instead I grabbed, this is a Distress Spray Stain in Brushed Pewter. So it's a silver color, and I splashed that all over my card, and it kind of makes the card, y'all. I don't know. It brings just a pop of brightness that this needed since I had gotten so much dark on there. I mean, white would have helped, but then white would have been almost too stark, and this comes together pretty well in the end. I'm pretty happy with it. This blue and green combination really makes me happy. So you saw I did some pencil scribbles on there and then decided to bring in some Tim Holtz paper dolls. I saw these two little guys and was like, I think they'll work. So I grabbed them, figure out where I want them to go, and now I've grabbed some Tim Holtz. I think these are Tim Holtz rub-ons. I had a couple other rub-ons I thought I might use. I have some beautiful gold butterflies from the Dollar Tree that I really wanted to use, but I just didn't think they would work with all the texture I had going on here. So I'm just going to find a phrase on those rub-ons from Tim Holtz, and I find one. I thought I was going to use something else actually, but one of them says attitude is everything, and the older of those two boys kind of has his arm propped, and which felt kind of like an attitude to me. I know it's probably not. It's just how the photographer posed him. But yeah, so it kind of felt like attitude. So I am going to cut out. This is how I do rub-on gel. I cut it out so that I don't get rub-ons from other areas. And then I've got a little piece of this, like the margins of an atlas, and I'm going to try to rub this on with my bone folder. Y'all, I struggled with this one. Usually I don't have much trouble with Tim Holtz rub-ons, but this was huge. I don't know. I think the age of that paper or whatever, it just wasn't sticking right. So I'm going to cut out some of this and come to, it took me a couple minutes and I finally got the whole thing to stick. But to secure it a little bit more, I'm going to put just a little bit of Mod Podge matte over the top of it just to make sure that it doesn't come up, because some of that paper tore a little and me trying to take it was a whole thing. So now I know that those paper dolls are kind of heavy, so I'm going to use my matte gel medium to glue it down. And while that's out, since I've got so much texture from those tea bags on the card, I'll use that to glue down my little phrase too. And I decided to use the phrase as a prop for that, since that little guy's arm is kind of up propped on something. I thought, well, I'll just give him something to prop his arm on. And so it's going to be this strip of margin with that rub on there. And so I messed with this for a little bit more. I'm going to get these guys glued down. I really, like I said, I ended up really liking this one. I kept trying to add more to it, but I kept trying to remind myself it doesn't have to be busy and crazy. And that was some of my problem with yesterday's card. I'm kind of glad y'all didn't see it because it was a mess. I showed y'all the end result and you saw it was a mess. And this one, I tried to keep it simple because sometimes that's just the best. Now, I didn't want these guys to feel too much like they were floating, so I'll add a couple of, like a Stabilo line and some shadow at the bottom of them. And then I'm going to decide I need a little bit of dark elsewhere on the card, so I'll dip my Stabilo in my water and make some, I tried to make splashes, but that didn't really work, so I just made some intentional, dots around on the page and then picked them up. And then you'll see it in a second, I'm just going to do the upper right and the lower left corners with a little bit of Stabilo that I activate. So here's some of I tried to splash that, was like, no. So I'm just making some weird little intentional splatters maybe around on the card, and I'll blot that up, some of the excess water, and then accent the upper right and lower left corners. And then that will be it, y'all. Like I said, I kind of like this. I'd like to know what you think. Is it too dark? Does that phrase stick out too much? Anyway, if you like this, do give me a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe, and hopefully I will be back tomorrow with another ICAD. We will see. Thank y'all so much for coming by and watching, and have a fabulous day. All right, y'all. Bye.